Border War. After winning last week, could they keep the winning going this week?
And this week's In Case You Missed It, we'll show you our favorite costumes worn by our favorite athletes.
And the CSU basketball season starts this Friday. We'll be previewing just about everything for this year's team coming up on CTV Sports.
Welcome to CTV Sports. I'm Riley Adams, joined this week by Ryan Hillman. And Hillman, we're only 5 days into No Shave November, and you've got a full-on beard.
You know, I'm trying my best.
I'm pretty impressed.
I'm trying my best, Zach Brown. We'll see what happens.
All you need is the beanie, and you've got him.
Love country.
Well, Hillman, this episode is very basketball-focused. We have previews for the schedule, previews for the players, and predictions for the season, all to help you out there get ready for what will hopefully be a very memorable basketball season.
I sure hope so. But before we get to that, let's go around the fort to check on all the CSU sports action you may have missed this past weekend. Last Friday, the volleyball team continued with conference play. They played the Wyoming Cowgirls in this year's second installment of the Border War Volleyball Edition. When Wyoming came up to Fort Collins earlier in the year, the Lady Rams swept them, and this weekend's result was the exact same, led by setter Deidre Foss, who finished the match with 38 assists. The rest of the team had 45 kills in the match. 17 of those kills came from senior Dana Cranston. Coach Hilbert said about Cranston's performance, "If she plays like this, we will win because our other players are good enough in support." The volleyball team's next game will be at Moby for an orange out. The Rams will be playing UNLV, who the Rams are currently tied with for second in the Mountain West Conference. Make sure to get to Moby this Thursday and support the ladies.
The volleyball team wasn't the only CSU team that went up to Wyoming last weekend. The football team went up to Laramie as well to play in the 104th edition of the Border War. The Rams haven't been able to take home the bronze boots since 2008, and unfortunately, this year was no different. After coming off a big win against Hawaii last week, the Rams couldn't keep the winning going. They did have a decent day on the offense with quarterback Connor Smith throwing over 300 yards on Saturday, and Thomas Kaufman had a career high in receiving yards with 146. But it was the defense that couldn't stop the Wyoming offense. The CSU Rams lose the game 45-31. The Rams take on UNLV this Saturday at Hughes.
It's now time to start our basketball preview. Riley, I know you're excited for this season. So am I. We kick off this Friday against Montana. But to get you started, Ryan Green and the other anchor, Scott Houston, went to one of the basketball team's practices to give us their preview of the season.
Hello and welcome to the Moby Auxiliary Gym for the CTV Sports basketball season preview. I am Ryan Green, joined by Scott Houston.
Pleasure to be here.
And we are also joined by the basketball team having practice right there behind us. Scott, I'm going to be honest. The football team's struggling. I think this team is the one that I'm most excited about at CSU. What about yourself?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, our expectations coming into the season are already high.
Yeah.
We're getting top 25 votes already, preseason rankings, and that's huge for Colorado State. Last year, we made it into the tournament for the first time in quite a few years, so expectations coming into the season, I don't know that they've been this high in almost a decade.
Let's start actually off with being getting some top 25 votes and our schedule with that.
Yes.
The Mountain West is a very, very strong conference, but our non-conference games aren't that very strong. So what are your expectations for the season game-wise?
Yeah, well, our first half of the schedule, like you said, isn't really that strong. Last year we were going up against teams like Duke. This year the highlight of really our out-of-conference schedule is Washington. And they're a strong team, but they come from a very weak division in the Pac-12. So we're going to have to play incredibly well out of conference. But really our true challenges are going to come in conference against our in-conference rivals.
Right. Yeah, I mean, you got UNLV, New Mexico, San Diego State, just to name probably the top three there.
And now Nevada coming in, who's also a very good team.
Exactly, and Fresno State, they're having some high expectations. Let's actually go into players on CSU right now. A lot of new additions, but a lot of seniors as well. Who are you looking out for this season?
Actually, the player I'm looking out for the most this year is someone who didn't even see the court last year, is Colton Iverson. It'll be the first time we have a true big man for our team since, well, as long as I've been here. You know, Pierce Hornung really had to carry this team anywhere near the rim last year. So really Colton Iverson is the addition that our team needed with our lack of size.
All right, so we have new additions. We got somewhat of a tough schedule, kind of a weak schedule as well. What are your expectations for this team at the end of the year?
I think this team could contend for the Mountain West title. I don't think they'll win it. I still think the title is going to go to UNLV. They're just that step above us. They're already ranked in this preseason polls. But I think the Rams here could challenge for it, and I'm expecting either second or third place this year.
Those are my numbers as well. Second and third, I could easily see. You're right. UNLV is going to be a really talented team. San Diego State isn't far behind them. I think they're just about at our level.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to be fighting with them for second place. And I would hope to see a higher seed in the national tournament this year than we saw last year.
Yeah, you'd hope for middle single digit at least, and hopefully a ranking by the end of the year.
All right, well, that's all the time we have for you. Basketball team's going to keep practicing. We'll send it back to Riley and Ryan.
Thanks, Ryan and Scott. Well, after the break, our basketball preview continues. We'll break down the entire starting five and give you our predictions of what's to come this season. It is finally basketball season, and Coach Eustace seems to have decided on his starting lineup, starting with Dorian Green. Dorian will be resuming his role as the starting point guard. Last year, he really stepped up and showed his leadership in big games. Ryan, what do you think about him?
Well, this is his fourth year starting. He's the quarterback of the offense for us. If he's doing good, he can knock down the three, he can drive and dish. If this kid is on his game, we will win.
Yep, agreed.
Ike Myers next and will come back as a great shooting guard. Late in the season, he wasn't able to put up as many points because everyone started double teaming him.
You know, everyone did. He's a great player. He had 54 threes. He's the first in the Mountain West Conference from the free throw line, almost 90%. He's a great guy. I think he's going to do a lot better, too.
Totally agree. Up next is one of our forwards, Greg Smith. Smith was one of the team's most consistent players throughout the stretch last year, and consistency is underrated.
Way underrated. He's going to do great things this year. He's the second leading scorer for the Rams with 13.5 points per game, and also the second on team with assists. He's going to do great things on both sides for us.
I think he's our biggest factor. He's got an NBA body. If he can do good, we'll do good.
Yep, I agree. Now, our last returning starter was our best rebounder last season, Pierce Horning. And Ryan, I know that Pierce has a special place in your heart. Am I right?
He does. We played against each other in high school. I maybe blocked him once or twice, but that's it. He's ESPN's one of the top 10 rebounders. Kids like former Nuggets player Ryan Bone. If he's on his game, we will win. And I see him in the NBA. Calling it right now.
I love watching him play. And the one big man we've all been looking forward to is 6'11" center Colton Iverson. Now, Ryan, this is really the first true center we've had in quite a while.
This is huge for us because we can finally go into the post. He can do his moves down there, or he can kick it out for the three. Huge.
I love him. I cannot wait to see him. As well, he played for Minnesota, so he's got a special place in my heart. And he played, all 31 games. He's going to do a lot for us, I think. It's going to be a fun season.
It will.
All right, Ryan, we heard Scott and Ryan give their predictions on the basketball team. So, Ryan, now it's our turn. I want to know one player on the basketball teams the fans should look out for.
I'm going with Daniel Bejarano. This dude is a freak. He's ready to play. He sat out last year because of the transfer. The kid can straight out shoot. And even better yet, he can dunk. He can jump. I'm excited to see what this kid can do.
Yep, he's going to be great.
Who's yours?
Mine is Pierce Horning. Watching him last season, I can't wait to watch him this season. He's going to get even better. He led the conference with 3.58 offensive rebounds per game, third in the conference in rebounds, which is huge for us. And he was the second in Mountain West Conference with steals. That's going to be a big thing for us. Turnovers, that's going to be where we see a lot of our points. So I think he's going to be a huge asset for us.
Exactly.
All right, Ryan. So Ryan and Scott both think we'll be fighting for second place in the Mountain West. Where do you see this team at the end of the year?
I see it as third. San Diego State returning Mountain West Conference Player of the Year, Jamal Franklin and Chase Tapley. UNLV with Mike Mosier, strong freshman class. But I see us as third. New Mexico losing Drew Gordon. Third looks good for us.
All right, I think we're in second. I think UNLV will definitely be ahead of us. And then also San Diego State is below us. We lost Bell and Sebas. I think we're going to be able to make up for it. Well, coming up, the Miami Heat got their brand new championship rings, and you will not believe how many diamonds they were able to fit on the thing. Stay tuned.
We roll.
ASCSU is your student body government. To find out more, come visit us in room 109 of the LSC.
Welcome back. It is now time for In Case You Missed It, where we show you some crazy, weird, or insane stories from the past week that you may have missed. Let's start with Halloween. Rather, there's tons of athletes that dress up this year. Here are 3 of our favorites. We'll start with the Hulk. Can you smell what he's cooking?
Maybe like Hulk Hogan or...
Negative. Let's try The Rock.
Look at those bulging muscles.
He's got to be juicing.
I only like a little definition on some guys. That's just too much for me.
No cuddle buddy there. All right, next up. Isn't an athlete just a celebrity dressed up as an athlete? If you don't know, that is Ludacris dressed up as Hornets rookie Anthony Davis. And don't worry, Riley, he got the unibrow down.
I love this. Anthony Davis is known for the unibrow. Those are almost identical. Look at those suckers. They're no tweezing for that. You don't need that.
No wonder why he blocks so many people, because they're distracted by his ugly face.
Okay, you're right though. It's a great strategy.
I love it though. I love it.
And he can only pull it off because he's such a great player.
Yes. And then here's Paralympian Josh Sundquist. He has only one leg, so he decided to go as the lamp from A Christmas Story.
Brian, I love this. Look at that. The heel, the fringe. What a great inspirational story as well. This is awesome. My favorite by far.
Best costume I have ever seen.
I completely agree. Now, Ryan, the Heat received their championship rings last week, and they were big, to say the least. And Ryan, look at this ring, and just take one guess. How many diamonds do you think are on this thing?
I'm not big with rings. I don't know very much about them. But I'm going to go with 100.
100? You're pretty close, but 219 diamonds.
That's got to be heavy on the finger.
I would say heavy on the finger, blinding people. That's got to cost so much money.
In Miami, you got to have bling.
I guess so. I mean, look at that. It's beautiful.
I would have one of those.
If I could wear it, I would pull it off.
All right, Riley, do you believe in ghosts?
Sometimes.
Aliens?
I wish I didn't.
Bigfoot?
Never.
You're going to after this. Let's check this video out. A couple is just walking around the woods and then saw this. They thought it was a black bear just, doing his thing until it stands up. No confirmation on whether this video was real or not. Riley, what are your thoughts?
It looks pretty homemade, like the Blair Witch Project almost kind of thing. They're running away from the scene. If they were really there, if it was really Bigfoot, get in close on him. Zoom in, get some proof. What do you think?
I totally agree. Halloween's so near.
It's got to be a joke, right?
It's got to be a total joke. I want to think it's real, but I know it's not.
We can't believe it. Can't fool us at CTV Sports.
Nope. Big game this Friday against Montana. Can't underestimate them.
Not at all. And that's the thing that could hurt us in the end is, going in with huge confidence. We should have confidence going in, but we really can't underestimate that Montana is much better than Metro State, who's a D2 team. We really have to be on our A game. And I think at Moby with the team and all the fans around them, I think it'll be great.
Pack Moby. Well, that's all the time we have for you this week. If you missed any of the show or our previous shows, you can check out all of our stories at CTV11news.com under the sports section.
And be sure to check in next Monday night when we sit down with volleyball player Dana Cranston and ask her about becoming a finalist for the class award.
And remember, tomorrow's election day. If you haven't already, get out and vote. I'm Ryan. She's Riley. We're all squared. We'll see you next week.
Responsible for all CTV content, therefore they bear responsibility for the decisions they make. CTV is not an official program of Colorado State University, but is produced by an independent, non-profit corporation using the name CTV pursuant to a license granted by CSU.